love that music. The truth is out there. International speaker, author, filmmaker, and UFO expert and scientific researcher Michael Horn. I'm so excited. He's here to share his truth. He's actually touring the world as the authorized American media representative for the Billy Meier UFO contacts.
Billy Meier is a soon-to-be 83-year-old Swiss man who claims that since he was a 5-year-old boy, he's been meeting face-to-face voluntarily with human beings from another star system, and he's proved it through his evidence. He's published to date over 45,000 pages of information, and the purpose that we are coming forward with now is the urgency because of the specific things that they foretold and told him decades ago that are happening now. What they specifically warned him about, some of that is unfolding right now with this new, I think it's called the coronavirus.
Okay.
70 years ago, he was given the information about new epidemics that will come from the international travel that we're having. And this is one of them. There will be several more. There will be specific eruptions of volcanoes, some of which are very pertinent to us in America.
Those pictures that we just saw looked pretty clear as day. Those have not been altered, you're saying?
Not at all. They've been, it's funny because they've been attacked by skeptics for a long time, except over the past 40 years, we've had 4 separate independent analyses people have done, and they've been authenticated through scientists at JPL, NASA, USGS. These are not the little lights in the sky types of things that even now are being reported, or, around the country.
Welcome to Redacted Conversations. I'm Clayton Morris. On this show, we invite journalists, we invite thought leaders, whistleblowers on to join us for in-depth conversations for stories that the mainstream media largely won't touch with a 10-foot pole. And I think today's video probably is maybe they need a 50-foot pole for a story that they won't touch on this one. What we're going to talk about today is arguably one of the most suppressed UFO stories of all time, the story of Billy Meier and the unbelievable authenticated experiences. We're going to show you some videos, show you some photographs today that will probably blow your mind. So buckle your seatbelt. My guest today is Michael Horn. He is one of the leading authorities on UFOs in the world. He's been a guest on Coast to Coast over 22 times. Michael has been a researcher for over 43 years on the UFO phenomenon, and he joins us now. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Clayton. I appreciate being here, and as you said about suppressed stories, smile to my face that we have the opportunity to speak.
Well, that's our goal here, is to bring truth. That's our whole purpose of this show, is in search of truth. And I think I always say that run away from people who are inflexible. That's one of the things I say on the show all the time, that look for people who, when presented with facts, when presented with truth and presented with evidence, are able to then, it changed their mind. Run away from the people who, when presented with those things, can't change their minds. So that's one of the things we try to shed light on this channel all of the time. Michael is the English media representative for Billy Meier. You can read his daily posts at his website, theyflyblog.com. We'll have links to that in the description so you can read Michael's updates there.
Welcome back to Ever Talk Live. I am beyond honored to welcome international speaker, renowned author, and UFO expert, Michael Horn, to the show. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot of press as the official speaker media advisor for Billy Meier, right?
Yes.
So who is Billy Meier?
Pardon me. Billy Meier is a Swiss man. He's going to be 83 years old shortly. He claims that since he's been a 5-year-old boy, he's been meeting face-to-face voluntarily with human beings from another star system, and he's proved it to a scientific and legal standard.
Okay. So let's rewind. Human beings from their star system.
That's correct.
AKA extraterrestrials?
That would be a word that you would apply.
Yeah, but they're human beings.
Human beings.
Interesting.
Not little gray guys, not weird things. A la science fiction, real people.
So how do they communicate and why?
Good questions. They communicate to him 2 ways. One is briefly telepathically, they can do that, but they speak to him in German. They learned his language. And actually, I like to say they speak to us in the language of science. And the reason for it is to help us assure our own rather threaten future survival.
Oh, that's interesting. So what kinds of things have they shared? I know they've shared predictions.
Tremendous number of predictions, some of which are expressed as predictions, some of which are simply conveyed conversationally in relationship to questions he might ask them or information they volunteer to him about virtually every planet in the solar system, black holes, conditions in space that we knew nothing about at the time he was being told and when he published it. So he's published information up to 50 and 60 years before NASA officially discovers it.
Wow.
But the evidence really is easy enough for even a scientist to understand. I put out this press release about coming here to do this presentation. And part of it is that we went to see one of the scientists at the USGS up in Flagstaff, who's working on the Mars mission. And I brought him and sent him through email a bunch of documentation from Billy Meier on discoveries on Mars. The canals, the ash, the volcanic eruptions, the water, where it was, the ice, tons of stuff. And he latched onto one thing. He said, well, he could be a good guesser. And I went, okay, I'm dealing with another imbecile. And then he wrote about, he says to me, I'm unaware of lightning on Mars because Meyer mentions lightning on Mars. So I went online, right there, there's an article, 2009 from NASA, says, they've just discovered lightning on Mars. Meyer published it 22 years before that. And this guy says to me, I hope you're not going to try to convince me of this. And I said, of course I am. You're a scientist. I should be trying to convince you, and you should be able to tell me why it isn't so.
Let's talk about UFOs and UAPs now. I'm still sticking by calling them UFOs, by the way. And we could be hitting some interesting deadlines where we may get some interesting information from the House of Representatives, the United States government, on UFOs. Our next guest is Michael Horn. He's a lead UFO investigator. He's the U.S. media representative, Billy Meier Contacts. And you were just contacted, Michael, by a U.S. House Intelligence Committee to help them to turn over evidence of photos that you have of UFOs specifically. I want you to tell our audience, first of all, what these photos show. We'll put them up here on the screen. And why do you think that they wanted to see these photos, the government?
Thanks, Clayton. These photos are historically unprecedented. Prior to our finding and revealing them, they had never before been seen. And what they show is an interaction in 9 photos. I originally thought there were only 5 and 4 duplicates, but they're 9 photos of a then top secret stealth interacting with one of the UFOs connected to the Billy Meier case.
And the person that, and it's very important because these photos are amazing. And they took place before digital cameras. This was, I think, in the early 1980s, if I'm not mistaken, correct? On the date?
1981.
1981.
Exactly. And they were taken by... Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. So these were... I'm just excited about this. It's a fascinating story. And the fact that the House Intelligence Committee reaches out to you for these photos.
Hi, I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I'm here for a couple of reasons today. I happen to think that critical thinking, scientific method, and etc. are the right way to go for determining claims. I don't even know if skepticism is necessary, because I always think that science supersedes skepticism and anything else. If you apply science to an extraordinary claim, you don't need skepticism to approach it. I want to interview you, the audience and presenters today. I'm going to present to you in an informal way, no trap, but an informal way. I'll present extraordinary evidence, and I want you to comment on it if you would be so kind. I've got 6, 7 documentaries out, award-winning, and one of them's already been banned at ASU. So, banned without commentary.
So these are photographs taken in pre-computer, pre-digital era by a man in Switzerland with one hand. They've been analyzed now 5 separate times, including by Michael Malin from NASA. And we recently had independent analysis done by a professor in South America and a photographic expert in Japan. So this man claims that since he's a 5-year-old boy, 73 years ago, that he continues to meet with these people. And the kicker is that they've given him information since he was a child, that as early as 11 years of age, he started to publish. And my website, my blog, I specialize in vetting that information against our science. Here's the kicker. We have now over 200 specific examples of what, I know scientists hate this term, prophetically accurate scientific information that he verifiably published before we discovered it. One of the things just came up 2-3 days ago. A new research study reports that there was more water on Mars than in the Arctic Ocean on our planet.
Michael Horn.
Hi everybody. How many people here have any familiarity with the idea of UFOs and extraterrestrial life at all?